YouTube has a new feature where they tell us all of the things that our audience probably wants to see, but I have no interest in making any of those videos. So thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring the only video I wanted to make today. I am an iPad baby. Not an age, but an addiction. I can't stop procreating on it.
Yo.
And today I wanted to use my iPad to talk about why you're unhappy. Here is the thing about people. Everyone is born with an innate, built-in desire for happiness or contentment or peace. And from an early age, we start looking for it everywhere. We get this idea in our heads that it's out there somewhere. We just have to get our hands on it. And so we look for it in ice cream, and sunsets, and dogs. You get that?
That's a dog?
I'm supposed to be Chester. As we get older, we look for it in relationships and career success and sick-ass cars and drugs and dream houses. But the problem with looking for happiness in any of these places is that it's not actually located inside any of these things. You don't have to take my word for it. You can test this theory for yourself. If happiness was located inside of this ice cream, then you would feel happy every single time you ate it. And the more of it you ate, the happier you'd feel. But the truth is, most of us have eaten ice cream while feeling deeply sad. And there's always a diminishing return in ice cream. The more of it that you eat, the less good that it makes you feel, especially if you're lactose intolerant. The same applies to anything else. Let's take cars or lovers. Say I'm an eccentric billionaire and I offer you 2 free cars, no strings attached. One of them is your dream car. Let's say it's a Porsche, and I'll write your name on the title right now. All you have to do is say the words. You can be cruising up Highway 1 with the top down today. And that's option 1. Option 2 is something basic, like an economy-sized car you get from a rental place. Something like a Kia Soul maybe, and it's used. And it kind of smells like the last owner. There are stains on the seats, and the windows are crank instead of buttons. But again, I'll sign the title over to you right now. No questions asked. But there's one caveat to this deal. If you accept the Porsche, you will be miserable. You'll feel restless, unsatisfied, you will crave peace and never find it, and you will feel like you're in a constant search for something that's always just out of your reach. Alternatively, if you accept the Kia, you'll be completely fulfilled and satiated. You will be sustainably happy, and you will have peace that surpasses all understanding. Which car are you choosing? Or let's say I offer you one of 2 partners. One is your dream partner. This person is hot and rich and brilliant and all the things you put on your vision board. The other one is just sort of average. Not particularly good looking, maybe broke and in between jobs, not particularly smart, nothing you've been historically attracted to. But again, if you choose option number 1, you'll be miserable. And if you choose option number 2, you will be eternally happy. Which one are you choosing? The obvious answer is that it's the second option every time. Because the truth is you never actually wanted the car or the person. You only ever really were after the happiness that you thought they would bring you. Eventually we all get to the place where we start to understand that chasing people or money or substances or things is elusive. And one of 3 things might happen. 1, we might continue the search for those things, hoping that we'll eventually find it. 2, we might stop the search altogether, buy a book on nihilism, and come to the conclusion that life is suffering. Or 3, we might shift the search. Instead of looking for happiness in the material world, we might start looking for it in spirituality or religion. The third option seems different. It seems more evolved than searching for happiness in sex and drugs and Cocoa Puffs, but it's actually just a more refined version of those things. Instead of looking for career success or an ass ton of internet followers, we rebrand and search for something called enlightenment. We look for it in yoga or meditation or plant medicine. While I'm not knocking any of these things, they certainly all have their place. The problem with any lofty experience is that you always have to come back down from them. Because here's the truth. This is the most important part of the video. If you take away just one thing, let it be this sentence. You are the happiness you seek. It's you, bitch. It was you all along. Another way put, the place that you're looking for is the place that you're looking from. Remember that innate desire for happiness we talked about? That's the biggest clue. We all have a memory of happiness because it's who we really are. If it wasn't, we would never know to go look for it. You're not lacking happiness. The big black dot is just veiling it from you, and you can tap back into it at any time. You're like a musk deer. I have to draw its ear. You're like this little musk deer. Imagine he has antlers. And musk deers don't look like regular deer, but I don't want to Google it right now. You're like the musk deer who excretes a heavenly scent, and you love the smell. And you spend your whole life searching for the source of it because you don't realize that it's coming from you. It's you, bitch. It always was. You can spend your life searching, pulling back every curtain, but unless you look within yourself, real, actual, sustainable peace and happiness will always feel just out of reach. Okay, so here is your Mango Street pro tip. Stop trying to add stuff to you. Stop trying to add things and people and experiences and numbers. Start taking stuff away. Addition by subtraction. You need to start removing the stories and fears and beliefs that you have about yourself. I'm gonna show you a practice you can do right now, and I'm gonna use Daniel as an example for it. Close your eyes. Ask yourself, are you aware right now? How do you know that you're aware? Who or what is aware that you are aware? To say it differently, what thoughts are you having right now? Who is witnessing you having those thoughts? What is witnessing your mind? How long has this witness been there? Your whole life? Has it ever changed? Was it a different witness when you were 5 years old? When you're 20 years old? What is the nature of that witness? Is it disturbed by what is happening in your life, or is it quietly observing your mind as you live out each day? Does it feel judgmental? I'm not talking about your thoughts that are definitely judgmental. I'm talking about the witness that's aware of those judgmental thoughts. Does it lack anything? Does it have any needs? If it is unchanging, unshakable, peaceful, always present, unconditional, and whole, doesn't that sound exactly like the thing you've been searching for? Anyway, here's an ad for Squarespace.
Nothing makes me and Chester happier than building a website with Squarespace.
Daniel.
We've been Squarespace customers long before this YouTube channel was even a thing, and before Chesterfield was even born. Now I can build even faster using the new Design Intelligence feature on Squarespace. This gives me a huge head start in adding content and sections to my site in a beautiful way. Trying out different color themes and fonts instantly gives me a preview showing how my site will look. Or I can get started with a wide variety of professionally designed website templates, and then make it my own. And when I'm ready to book clients, I can easily create professional proposals, estimates, and contracts to make it all official. I can then invoice my clients and accept payments from ACH Direct Debit, Klarna, Apple Pay, and more. Head to squarespace.com/MangoStreet for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use the code MangoStreet at checkout to save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain. When you use our code, you do help support our channel, so thank you. Nothing makes me happier than building a website with Squarespace. Hi, Chester.